That's a bit weird. I just don't think any woman that said Jeffrey Dahmer was quite sexy. Hello, and welcome back to episode 9 of We Called It. I'm Lewis Reeves.
And I'm Joanna Ball. Oh, Joanna. I said Joanna this
Ball.
time.
Yeah, I always feel like you change it up.
Yeah, no, I'll do Joe Ball. You said it sounds famous, so...
Joe Ball sounds like a cool, DJ radio presenter.
And I'm Joe Ball.
Yeah. You'd be really good.
Keeping it cool.
Yeah, and you lost it. If you go keeping it cool, you're not cool. 100%. I was really with you then, and then straight out, I was like, no, I understand. Yeah, no. We've got an amazing episode. So we've just finished speaking to her astrologist, Francesca Oddie. She's got her own podcast called the Astrology Oddcast, which is a great pun.
She's amazing.
She's an amazing program called Written in the Stars, which I've not watched yet, but I'm going to absolutely binge.
Yeah.
Which is like Love Island, but with
Love
astrology.
Island with a twist.
Super, super interesting. Smart.
Blown away.
Clever woman. And what I got from it, it's astrology, but she grounds it and she makes it really understandable. And
I thought you were going to say she grinds it down.
She really grinding my gears. No, she makes it really
palatable.
ascertainable.
Ascertainable, that's better. Palatable's like just getting by. This was beyond.
Right, so let's get into it. But you've got celebrity endorsement of the week.
Yeah, I have. Are you ready?
Mate, I'm so ready. I'm excited. I like it when you do it because it's a surprise.
Yeah, I keep it a surprise, don't I?
Yeah.
This is a very, very...
You've been bragging about this one for a while.
I know. I'm very, very excited about this one. So this is Natalia Cordova-Buckley. She has appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She fronted that for lots of seasons. She's just finished shooting with John C. Reilly.
I know who she is. She's in Coco.
She is in Coco.
She's Frida Kahlo.
She is Frida Kahlo.
Oh my God. My daughter is absolutely obsessed with Coco.
There you go, Nat.
Nat? Like first name basis?
Don't worry about it. Best friends.
And she knows about the podcast?
She knows about the podcast and she's absolutely thrilled about it. She's so excited. She couldn't wait.
Hi, Joe. So, here I am in my sister's extra empty closet because everyone's asleep. And I opened my DMs. You didn't even take the time to WhatsApp me or call me. You're asking me to sponsor your podcast. Haven't heard from you in forever. And all of a sudden, you're asking me to do this. I didn't even know you were doing a podcast. You know, everyone's doing a podcast now. Can't even imagine what it's about. But yeah, no, won't be listening. Thank you for interrupting my actor strike, as you should know. You know, I don't know, maybe since, we share a taste in man, you thought that translated to other things. It doesn't. It doesn't. Doesn't translate to taste of podcasts. So, yeah. Enjoy your podcast. I won't be listening, but I'll see you in LA, girl.
That's amazing.
I know.
Nat, can I call her Nat?
Yeah.
Thanks, Nat.
Thanks, Nat.
Oh,
seriously, thanks, Nat.
That's a big
Big old one.
Yeah.
I mean, she's obviously thrilled about the podcast.
It sounds like she's having a terrible time.
She will be listening. She'll be addicted, if I'm honest. Same taste in men.
Yeah.
Nice work, Nat.
Yeah, I want to know what that story is. That sounds, but maybe that's for another podcast.
That's another podcast.
Nat, muchos gracias.
Oh,
Hola.
mi amor.
And on that note, hasta luego. Here's Francesca Oddie. Yay. Francesca, hello. Thank you so much for doing this.
Pleasure. Great to be here.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying the podcast. For someone that knows bugger all about astrology, I think it's really impressive as well that because we've sort of got each other.
Yeah.
It's
great to have people to bounce off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas but you hold the show and
you
tell
do.
the stories. You tell your story really because it's your life integrated with astrology.
I forget sometimes I lose my train of thought though, and then I'm like, I had no idea what I just said.
No, but that's what I really like.
I really like that too because my brain actually functions like that.
And it's
So I follow it.
It's relatable. And the best thing, so I'm very new to this world. I'm leaning into meditation, everything, as much as I can. This last year and a half, I've been trying to better myself physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever. So this is why we're looking into astrology now. But what I really liked about your podcast and what you do is that it felt very grounded and real. Like you opened up your last episode and basically it was like, having a go about the builders, someone pissing you off in yoga. It was all these things that I was like, yeah, those things. And what you find in like this industry, sometimes it can all feel a bit airy-fairy and we're not really acknowledging true feelings, where you opened up your podcast and it was like, boom, yeah, this is pissing me off and this is pissing me off. And it might be because of this or this or,
But don't you think people prefer airy-fairy? So you're an actor. Don't you think people like that?
No.
People prefer showbiz?
I think it attracts a lot of that, but I just feel like it's not grounded and real.
It doesn't stop it being successful though, does it?
No, but
No, yeah,
I
that's
think
the brand, isn't it?
I did the TV show last year and I'm like dipping my toe into the world of media. I was just like, wow. You know, because I'm just so not media, like you've just said.
well, it's a lot of inauthenticity really in all of that sometimes, I think, when it's smoke and mirrors
And
dressed up.
Are you talking about Written in the Stars?
Yeah, but any work that I've done, all the radios, you know, anything that I do where it's not just being myself, I'm not very showbiz.
Right, okay. I'm tits and teeth. I love it. But yeah, I know what you mean. There is like you could sometimes be with a certain person and how they come across on camera is completely not what you get in their day-to-day life. There is two worlds. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I just think because I feel like I've accepted that I'm just going to be really like be myself and it'll be pretty niche and I'm happy with being niche as opposed to being showbiz, which does seem to open doors to being more attractive.
What I find really interesting is, and what is more sustainable is when you're authentic and real and it's you, people will connect with that a lot more. Whereas if you do the tits and teeth thing, eventually you will get found out. Or you'll see behind the curtain.
I guess you want to be authentically showbiz would be the ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Gotta
because
put a
it
bit of a show
depends.
on.
I suppose it also is what is one's idea of showbiz and success, really.
But anyway, I'm hijacking your pod with my questions.
No, I like it.
We don't know what we're doing.
No, we're making up as we go along.
Yeah, exactly. Can I talk about Written in the Stars? Because
Yeah, please do.
has it come out here or is it on Amazon?
It came out in November. I think the 27th was the date. And it was two episodes dropped. And then there was one every Sunday until the 22nd of January, I think. And now it's all there on Discovery Plus, I believe.
I didn't realise it was going to be like Love Island vibes.
Did you enjoy doing it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've said this to someone the other day. I think it was my mate who was getting married and she was like, oh, it just doesn't feel real. And I was like, I know that feeling, but try to not to be like that because then the moment passes. Because I think there were so many things. It was still a bit pandemic-y and people were a bit like, you know, things were getting cancelled left, right and centre. So I was like, don't get excited. And also I hadn't, you know, couldn't tell anyone. So it was like, it was under wraps. And then when I was there, it's like, don't tell anyone where you are, etc., etc. So there was nothing on social media. It was all quiet. And then it kind of came out and then it was like, oh, you know, we don't know what it's going to be like. We don't know what press we're doing. And then it just happened. And it was like, oh, I don't feel like I did it completely because I was always sort of waiting for the next step. But being in Greece was just so surreal. It was like being taken out of my life and being put somewhere else and being like, what? Like, what?
So how long did you spend in that place?
About a month, really. It was less than a month. Just under a month. Yeah, I think it would have been a month, but Clara needed to come back for Glastonbury, I think.
I love her so much.
Nice reason to come back.
I love her so much.
She's brilliant. She's so brilliant at what she does. Like, she never doesn't have something good to say. Such a gift. Gemini gift. Like you, Joe.
Oh,
Look at me. I've always
this
got
is
good
what I
shit
was
to
hoping
say.
for. This is what I was hoping for.
But yeah, I guess, is that why you thought of her to do a pod with? Because that's what you want, a Gemini.
Yes.
That's what he was thinking.
Right,
He went, what star sign are my mates? Joe Ball's a Gemini. That's the one.
Good accent.
We've got a winner. Good accent.
Yeah,
oh,
I did-
it's all
well, that
coming
is-
out now.
It's really funny you say that because I actually asked two other people.
Oh, right. And they said no.
Well, no, they wanted to do it, but then they dropped out for another one was an actor and he was working at the time, and it was the same for the other one. And then I was really like racking my brains, like who would I want to? Because this is a lot of work, as you know. And I was like, who do I really want to? And who do I find genuinely funny? And that person couldn't do it, so I asked Joe.
So mean.
No, but as soon as you entered my head, it was a real like eureka moment, and it was so easy. Then I just called you up and you went, yeah, I'll do it. And that on the next train, And
I've
here we
given
are.
you no bother, have I, ever since?
It's been absolutely fine. So can we give you a bit of a grilling?
Yeah, go.
I suppose it's a very broad one, but what is astrology?
Astrology is the reading of horoscopes, and the definition of horoscope is hour map. So horoscope, hour map. And your horoscope isn't what you read in the newspaper. The horoscope is the map of the sky taken at the moment you were born. So all the planets in the sky are up there. So the zodiac belt, the signs of the zodiac are just the constellations. And so all 12 signs of the zodiac are basically, they're just around us. But they're far, far, far away. They're the backdrop. The planets are moving, and they're moving against that backdrop. So it's like, imagine a car going in a valley, and then it goes up the mountain, and then it goes down the mountain, and then it's in the grassy plain. That's like the planet. It's like, that's Venus, and she's in Cancer, and then she's in Leo, and then she's in Virgo. The planets have they have a symbolism. They all represent different things, and they behave differently in the different signs of the zodiac.
What a great explanation.
Love.
I've never really understood it
No,
like that.
I haven't.
Okay then, so I think on your Instagram, which is brilliant, I love all your memes, by the way, they make me laugh. You say that you're an astrologer on a mission to bring the life-changing insights of astrology to as many people as possible. I suppose my question is, why is that your mission?
Dean, when I set out my website, when I was first, like a proper astrology student, that was my passion, because it just brought such clarity to me. Like, I felt like life was foggy and confusing, and I didn't know what the hell was going on all through my 20s. And then suddenly I had this language, this thing that went, this is exactly who you are, and this is why things are like this. And the more I learned, the more I was like, this is life-changing. It's so empowering. I feel so vindicated. I feel so just excited about being able to translate myself and my relationships. And I just wanted people to feel the way I was feeling. Now, I mean, I just stick with it, because whenever I think, what am I doing? I'm like, I guess I'm still doing the same thing. I just want people to know what's going on. Whether that is still my genuine motivation, I haven't sat with it long enough to be sure, but I know that it was.
So it gives you like a faith, would you say? Or is that too broad a word?
Not faith, because faith involves a leap of, and there is no leap of faith, because it's absolute. It's so crystal clear and reliable and helpful. It's a language that explains what you already knew. Yeah.
It's like being with a teacher.
I know. I'm like,
When you said
My
absolute.
sister said that last week.
Yeah, it's really like, I'm being good.
well, you're clearer than a teacher, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like, I just think teachers, I go back to school and I'm like, I have no idea what Scooby-Doo they were on about.
Yeah, Mr. Carter just used to scratch his balls in front
Yeah,
of us.
no.
And we used to be like, he used to count it, it'd be like 10 times that
times.
lesson.
His hand's gone down his trousers 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't got a job anymore now, actually. How did you find it then? How did you, if it wasn't like maybe a family thing, or was it something that was new that came to you?
I was always into it. Like, someone asked me this on Friday, and I was at mum and dad's on Friday. There was this little ceramic thing that, baby gift, christening gift, with my name and my weight and where I was born, and it said Sagittarius, and I was like, I think mum was dressing me, and I was like 4 or 5, and I saw it. I was like, what's Sagittarius? And she was like, oh, it's just this silly thing. And I was like just captivated by it, and I had this really trippy, like, out of body experience when I was really little. And then from then on, I was always interested in star signs. Whenever people spoke about it, I was always like, I just felt like that's my thing somehow. And then I just remember birthdays like a weirdo. I remember the date of everything, and my mates always test me on it, and they just were like, why do you remember this? And I'd always be like, I don't know, just remember all the dates.
Did you have just a good memory in general? Like, would you remember loads of things and that just happened to fall into it? Or were you specifically...
I probably have a good memory in general, yeah.
But you obviously had a passion leaning into, like, remembering those types of things way more.
Yeah, it was just so weird.
Yeah.
You're asking if we could take it to Vegas and count cards.
Yeah, I'm thinking...
I know what you're
let's
doing.
get
Can we
her on
stick
that
to
plane.
the subject, thanks? Yeah.
We needed to make some dollars so we could get in a studio. I'm like, this is our ticket.
I'm good at gambling.
Oh, there we go.
Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get that studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a premonition, like I had a dream that Forest were going to beat, I'm from Nottingham, that Forest were going to beat Arsenal. I just knew. And I'd known from the astrology, and I was like, nothing was going to take me away from being in Nottingham on the 20th of May. Nothing.
Well, actually, because that game as
20th
well
of
was
May.
like Arsenal were favourites to win. There was,
Obviously. So I made 900 quid anyway, and I could have made more because I was so sure. I was so sure they were going to win. I was like thinking of I was like, I'm just not going to tell him. I'm just going to put £1,000 on and not tell anyone if I'm wrong. But I bottled it. I texted a couple of people who were like, don't lose more than you can afford. And I just absolutely knew. I'd been telling everyone for months we're going to beat Arsenal, and everyone was like, shut up.
yeah, because Forest were really struggling at that point, and Arsenal were looking like they were going to win the league. So that's a real, like, I would have said, do not make that bet categorically. And you made 900 quid.
But we're at home. Yeah.
Let's get a WhatsApp group going. Let's get a few tips.
Yeah.
Oddie's tips.
Yeah.
Oddie's odds.
Oh, that's good.
That is good. You don't have any Gemini on your chart, Lewis.
Do I not? Is that a bad thing? Am I okay?
No, you're unstable.
No, Gemini's unstable.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I could have told you that.
So he's all right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Gemini's not unstable just for the purpose of the podcast.
Just me.
I tell you what. I tell you what, I'm really interested in how, obviously, as an astrology expert, how, I suppose, accurate or how quickly can you tell someone's star signs, and how often do you get that right, or is that a thing? Would you play that game?
Yeah, it's if someone's just a really obvious character, if someone's really chatty and witty, you're going to see the Gemini.
But you could really call. Is that like a game in the pub you ever do?
My actual friends don't care, so the only people ever doing that are going to be strangers. And if I can tell, I can tell, and if not, I'll be like, give me 10 minutes.
Yeah, you want to see their energy, right? And their characteristics.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I suppose, is that where the TV world gets a bit blurred then as well? Because, say, for example, you're a psychic or a medium, and that's maybe where the performance get involved. You might not be able to conjure a reading there and then. They're not things that can happen straight away, but because it's on TV, you've got to kind of put something on, put a show on.
So, I work with a psychic who's phenomenal, and I know a lot of brilliant psychics. And the thing is like with any profession, when you blur it with TV, do they want to be on TV more than they have a talent? You see that with like the TV doctors. Do they want to be a doctor, or they just want to be on the telly? And they're a doctor because their parents made them be a doctor. So it's whether you're not always looking at a marriage of talent. When you get the TV people, sometimes they just really, really want to be famous for their thing.
Yes, I think you get that with actors though as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I spoke to a friend the other day who went to drama school, and she was like, all these shit actresses who got the jobs just because they were hot, and it pissed me off.
That's how I get most of my work. No talent, but just bloody uber sexy.
So let the Gemini do it.
Yeah.
Gemini Sag, good combo. Yeah, you're rising Sag, Lewis.
Rising Sag.
Good
okay.
combo. Good combo.
I just love it.
I love it.
For people who don't use astrology, how can it help them in their lives? What are they missing out on?
They are missing out on clarity. They're missing out on being able to be like this. And you know what? You might know it. You might just know yourself.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Everybody's living their astrology, whether they're having readings or not. We're all doing it. And some people don't want to know. And I get that, and I respect that. But for me, it's like if you're a bit lost, a bit confused, going through a shit time, you want to know how long it's going to stay rubbish for. If you just I really like understanding things. It's part of my nature. So it really helps me to be able to look at my astrology chart and translate it, because without it, I'm just like, why? But why?
But you see, now what I think about that though is like, what if people cling on to that, or one, should I say, and then they go all into it, right? And then they go, oh, bloody hell, I'm having such a shit time. I've got another 2 fucking years of this. And then they're like, brilliant, I got to ride it out. Then
Is it that extreme?
It could be with a Neptune transit. Yeah, I've got a few friends who are in a...
Do you know what? The amount of times I've heard that.
I've got a fair few friends who've got a lot of Neptune going on, and they're just like, I've been there, I've had it. And you've got to be a very good astrologer to be able to read that for yourself anyway, really. So that's not most people, and an astrologer's never going to tell you that in that way if you go for a consultation. It's more about how can you use this time productively, because there is always a productive or a more helpful way of navigating a transit. It's ignoring the desire for change can, I'm not talking about Neptune now, I'm talking about Uranus. But if you are like
I knew I was going to buckle.
Oh, it had to come out, didn't it?
Do you still laugh at that? Neptune coming out Uranus.
No, I don't, but I understand why people do.
Thank you.
Astrologers say Uranus.
Yeah.
Uranus, yeah,
we
that
were wondering
helps.
if you were going to go Uranus or
If you were going to go...
Uranus or Uranus.
That's what I always said. And then that's what the teachers started changing it, and then you just get on board.
No,
I know,
yeah.
and it's pathetic, isn't it?
So ridiculous.
But when you have your Uranus transit, then the desire for change is really strong.
I'll get over it.
It's
Sorry,
with
let me get out
transit.
my
It's with
sister.
transit.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of pooping.
You've got a bit of it. You've got a Uranus transit next year, Lewis.
What does that mean?
Yeah, is that something to be careful of?
No, what does that mean?
Well, it could be. It's anything to do with money or work. He might want to do something just different, more freedom. He might want to go and work abroad, or maybe are you in a relationship?
I am, yeah, I'm married.
So maybe that if she wants to go abroad for what does she do?
She's an interior designer, but she's working as an estate agent. At this moment in time, she's retraining.
Okay, because sometimes in a man's chart, Venus is his wife. That's why I'm asking. And you have Venus in your 6th house, which is the area of work. So that's why I'm asking about work. So it's your work or her work, and there's some kind of desire for freedom, or maybe you get going a bit digital. But it's a bit boom time, really. It's very good in April. It could be the podcast. It could, because Venus could also be you, Joe, because a female counterpart.
Well, that does ring true. There's lots of... I've got lots of projects on at the moment, which is why I've got such baggy eyes like this.
There is definitely change. Maybe you get a job abroad or something next April, May, June, yeah.
Okay.
You've got time to prepare though, don't
Lovely.
freak out.
I'm prepped. What is the best and worst things about being an astrologer? And if I've got a mate who's a musician, and like we were just laughing at the Uranus joke, I imagine that could be a tiring thing.
Not many people would laugh at it, to be honest.
Oh, really? Of course they don't. They're proper adults. A mate of mine, he's a jazz musician, and he has to travel everywhere with a very large double bass.
Yeah,
And
it's annoying.
9 out of 10 times when he's on a train, a bus or whatever, someone will go, "Oh, that's a big guitar, mate." And they'll find it hilarious. And he goes, "Oh, I just want to kill myself." Is there anything, I imagine there's so much stigma and so much, I don't know, debate around astrology. Do you have anything like that like pet peeves or things that you love or whatever?
Yeah, I was quite sensitive to everyone taking the piss out of me and calling me Mystic Meg and saying I was a hippie and all that stuff at the beginning. And then I just got over it. And now no one ever says anything ever.
I wonder if that's because you
Interesting.
got over it. You put it out into the universe that it was just like, this is not going to be a vibe right now because I am going to manage myself. And then the universe just said, no, that's
It
good.
is remarkable. It really is remarkable how, because that's what, Instagram tells you, that, what you put out is what you get. Like I was at a wedding at the weekend. No one mentions astrology. And, I'm there. I think someone said to me, I do always say, I wish my friends would consult me on when they should get married, because that is a big job that astrologers do. We can pick the date, but nobody does.
Oh, right.
I think I would
Interesting.
going forward. Not that that's ever happening again. No offense, Leland. But
Oh, yeah. You could have definitely done, you could have done more
I
than
could have done
astrology.
with a bit of an astrology.
Well, you could have done with marrying the right bloke.
Also that, but yeah, an astrologer could also help with that, But we also say, you got to follow your heart. So at a certain point, we don't want to interfere because the heart speaks louder. And if there is a lesson for you in something, then you've got to go and live that lesson anyway. But yeah, so that doesn't really happen anymore.
I've got one. Can I go backwards to something we were talking about? Because I'm really intrigued by this. So you know how we were saying about you can look at something and go, right, for the next X amount of time, due to your charts right now, you're going to be in for whatever's happening.
Ride.
Yeah. So Is that when you would encourage someone to like tap into themselves so that they can then manage that section of time? Because surely, and this is my thing, does it ever get to the point where astrology can like squash someone's natural way of being because they might sit in a state and go, well, I'm depressed at the moment, or I'm nervous at the moment because I've got this for the next year, so I'm just going to sit in this.
I think if you're fluent in astrology enough to be able to look at a year ahead and see a good year or a bad year, then your fluency will enable you to dive into that in an appropriate way, in a constructive way. Because astrology isn't about going, this is your lot. It's about, this is where you are. Let's try and get through this in the best way possible. So that's when an opportunity comes, like when it rains or when you strike gold, you're going to be ready. You're going to be early bird catches the worm. When the gold rush is here, you're going to be the first one there. And when you are going through a time of challenge and transformation, that you are just aware of the fact that that's there, which is even just helpful, so that when things do happen and you're like, God, I did, because you never know exactly what it is, really, unless you're a psychic astrologer. And then something happens and it's confronting and it's upsetting, but you're like, okay, that's what that was. And then you go, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to put more energy into work, or I'm going to get really fit. Just like you would when you have a breakup and you just, I've got to pick myself up. If you're going through a challenge, you're going to pick yourself up. And so it's like that, but you've got a bit more nuance and you're more able to leverage the sky.
Yeah, so it kind of is like just general spirituality in the sense that it gives you something tangible, doesn't it, to like navigate. I've started doing this thing lately. I've definitely started to implement it more. So I've always been quite spiritual, even in my like mid-20s, and I've dipped in and out of it.
Quite a while ago. Sorry, I can't help it.
Decades.
Every show.
4,000 decades.
Sorry, mate.
I'm okay. I've got thick skin.
You don't know, do you?
In the metaphorical sense, not in like she's really old and got thick skin.
She doesn't have metaphorically thick skin, though.
No, I think I have thick skin, though.
Really?
Oh, I've taken a battering. We won't go into that.
I'm saying that. Interesting, though.
Go on. Yeah, go on.
Because I think this is quite sensitive chart. This is somebody extremely perceptive.
I am perceptive.
And sensitive.
And sensitive, actually. But sticks and stones, I'm like that.
You're strong?
Yes, I'm very strong. If I do say so myself.
You've literally agreed to everything she said.
I am. No, but I am. This is why I find it crazy.
Yeah, but that's, I think, she's got Mars. Okay, you've got Mars in Taurus, so that you're stoic and you're going to carry on and you're going to plow ahead. But a lot of the energy in this chart is very perceptive, very very sensitive, and sensitivity is literally when you do palm reading. If somebody's sensitive, then they're going to have a really soft skin. They're going to be, soft hands. And I remember realizing it's like sensitive body, sensitive mind. And so if you have a sensitive mind and sensitive body, then you've maybe learned how to handle things, but whether you've got thick skin, I don't know.
I will agree with that. I revoke what I've said, because you've just articulated that magnificently.
That was amazing. You just got schooled, bro.
Probably should move in and have this on a daily.
If you've been strong, then I would say that probably, again, this is why astrology helped me. Like, I would have told myself I had thick skin, but I don't. You can decide to be resilient.
All right then. Well, it feels like we've naturally progressed into us.
Yeah.
Shall we touch? Like, I imagine birth charts is something that you can really dive into and go on for quite some time. But what is a birth chart, and can we look into a little, because you've got our birth charts there? What can you tell us about us, or what we could be expecting, I guess, is what I'm really interested in. So
birth chart is a horoscope, like I said earlier. Like, your birth chart is that map of the sky taken at the moment you were born. And so astrology is the reading of that. And I can read your charts, but I can also read the chart of the country, or the chart of a business, or the chart of a marriage, or the chart. It's just reading a moment, basically. So that your moment is the first moment you took a breath and incarnated. But also, if I was, doing crazy astrology, I'd read your conception chart and your prenatal eclipse.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, you can go back to like Spermsville with this.
Exactly. And then I could also like put you two together, and I could read your composite chart. And like, how does the world see you two as an entity?
Oh, that would be good.
Bit of like market research, but in the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how the world sees you both. You are Taurus.
I thought so.
Okay, and that's interesting, is it?
Yeah, no, it's you really do. You're talking about taboo topics then. You, as a couple, like you're into the dark, are you or not?
I guess so. I mean, that's what this podcast is.
Joe, you're a Gemini. You've got 3 planets in Gemini. So you're super versatile, chatty, communicative. You've got a talent with words. How were you writing in early life? Do you like writing?
No, I do now, but I was awful at writing. Really bad. Like, as in bottom set bad. But yet they couldn't work it out because I was in bottom, but up here. They were a bit like, hang on, she needs to be up there, but writing down there. So I was
that's
bad.
why I asked you, because basically you're Mercury in Gemini. Mercury loves to be in Gemini because he rules Gemini. So it gives you a really sharp mind. And you just, it's quick wit. So you probably always had the humour, you're always there. But with Mercury opposite Neptune, and Neptune is god of the sea, it's like a bit daydreamy and that, it definitely lends itself towards being an actress and sort of absorbing things and maybe being a bit shy and being a bit confused in a way.
100%.
I'm confused daily.
But it's that perception you've got. You've got a rising Cancer, Pisces MC. Pisces is your career line. Pisces is media, TV, acting, but it's also psychic work. And whenever I see someone who is Cancer rising with Pisces at the top, am I always like, right, how psychic are you? That's normally my first question when I see a chart like yours. And then you've got Moon Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces. So your Moon, who you are as a woman, is connected with Neptune. Mercury, who rules Gemini, is opposite Neptune. There's a lot of Neptune here. And Neptune is psychic, sensitive. It's acting, it's music, it is being sensitive, it is being perceptive. But that, again, it does... Neptune undermines the mental cerebral function, which is why I imagine there's been that as a child there was that tussle between you being a naturally curious and inquisitive, bright Gemini who somehow just, I don't know, what were you like then? What were you into?
I was really shy at school. There was kind of 2 versions of me. I was very, very shy at school and got bullied quite badly, like locked in cupboards bullied. I was that one.
I do that now, but
he
that's
does
just
that
for team
now,
meetings.
And then, but outside of school, I had a completely different life from the age of 4. So from 4 was when I first started to stand on a stage and I wanted to say poems and I wanted to make people laugh. But then I would leave the stage and I would go back to not speaking and be quite little. So that's why I was encouraged then to just keep doing that. But then it like grew into like this thing where I just loved people. I loved finding out who they were. I wanted to copy them. We'd go places and I'd copy people. But then I'd go back to like a school environment. I'd be quiet.
That's really, I mean, we could dig into that a lot, but I'd want to ask a million questions about everything to dig into that. So I won't do that here. But yeah, you get Neptune. I've got a Mercury-Neptune conjunction. So you've got Mercury and Neptune 180 degrees apart. They're opposite one another. And in astrology, you read things that are together or opposite or 90 degrees or 120 degrees or 60 degrees. And you can also read all the different weird aspects in between. But the main ones are like together, opposite, square. They're the main kind of challenging aspects. And it is shyness. It is. Are you left-handed?
No.
It's very right-brained either way. Whether you're left-handed or not, it's about having that kind of right brain, creative, dyslexic. Are you dyslexic?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all this, for me, astrologically speaking, it's kind of this the same. I often think that I might be dyslexic, but because my memory's so good, I'm not. My French teacher could not understand why I wasn't better at French. And I remember it being like, "Are you dyslexic, Fran?" And I was like, "No." But I remember being like, but I understand why you're asking me this, but ask me quite late. And I am not into those kind of diagnostics anyway, because I think astrology is better. I think understanding yourself astrologically will give you, is more empowering. Dyslexia is about somehow having a very visual mind and being able to like space things out and project into the future and plan things from a distance and just have a great sense of humor. Find me someone dyslexic who doesn't have a great sense of humor.
I mean, I'm pointing to myself, so it's a bit big-headed, but I'd say we have quite a good sense of humour.
And it's I think it's because of seeing in pictures and then translating that picture back that makes it funny.
I learn in pictures as well. And I also take advice in pictures. I could have someone giving me loads of advice and it literally rolls over my head. I've got quite a few friends who know that I listen in pictures. So what they'll do is if I'm in a situation, I'm going, but so-and-so, so-and-so, they will break that situation down so that I can visually understand it.
Right,
So they'll say, look, imagine you're on an iceberg right now and you're drifting away and what you're trying to do is, and they'll put it into a picture for me and I go, oh, I get it now. Yeah. And then I've got tangible visuals so that I can then...
Just put the toilet seat down.
Just put it down. Wipe your bum.
Yeah. Please. What I found really interesting about that is Jo, and I often take the piss out before this, often feels like she has visions. She sees things
not surprising.
very, very clearly. And also I would say probably a skill about you can tap into people. Like I could be a bit pissed off about something or emotional about something, and obviously I'm just a bloke, so I won't talk about it. And Jo will be able to tap in pretty quick to something that I think's buried deep down, and I'm a little bit like, that's annoying.
It's like I know stuff. I feel like I know stuff.
Yeah, well, you probably do.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I told you weeks ago. I said to Lewis weeks ago, I am having visions and they're very strong. I've never really had them before. I've seen things and I've understood things about people like what you just said. I pick up on things and energies. But of the last, probably about 2 months, I'm getting really clear visions and they literally drop into my brain and I see it and they're happening. They're only little, usually. They're not like life-changing ones, although Iris was a big one, I think.
No, that was quite good.
I guess the name of our friend's baby.
Yeah, from like nothing.
Nothing.
From nothing. And on the show.
Yeah, we have video evidence of this moment.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you probably want to work on that then. As in, go to the College of Psychic Studies.
Is that like Hogwarts? That sounds amazing.
Do I get a gown?
Yeah.
I want the gown and
No,
everything.
you don't get a gown. I haven't been for a while, but it's not gown vibes. But still, there's a fair few colleges where you can go and do some psychic development. But I would develop it also because you need psychic protection, the other side of that.
Go on.
Well, if you're open...
I am.
You're open to everything good and bad. So you need to have, if you're going to open it more, and which it probably is, by the way, because your moon is 25 Sag and Neptune is 24 Sagittarius. And then Neptune in the sky is at like 26 Pisces, 27 Pisces right now. So at the moment you've got your Neptune square. You're one of these people who's been going through this Neptune stuff for the past year or so, which has opened you up psychically and spiritually and into media stuff, but also could have left you a bit like confused. What's going on? Who am I? Where am I? What day is it?
It did. It did.
And sleepy, maybe.
Yes.
But you've had a lot of Neptune for a while. Go on.
No, I have. And I think that I feel like I'm not so confused and sleepy anymore.
Yeah, you're coming out of it.
I'm coming out of it. I can feel that inside me.
So yeah, but what it has delivered is a little bit more psychic gifts.
Wow.
And psychic work, like media is also the same symbol. So podcasts is the same. It's not all Neptune because Neptune is about being porous and not having boundaries. So if you can feel the unseen, if you can tap into the ether, or if you can feel other people's emotions, that's Neptune. But also, sound travels. You can't put sound in a box and say no more sound. So that's why podcasts have the same symbolism, because it's about information that's just being filtered, porous. It's all the same stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It's fascinating.
I'm blown away.
That's amazing.
I'm blown away. I'm genuinely.
Yeah, that really is.
This is unbelievable.
Anyway, enough about her.
She's also had a Uranus transit.
What does that mean?
Well, she had a Nando's last night. That's probably why.
Yeah, extra hot. I dipped out of that.
No, last year the change. When were you? You were married and now.
No, I was married years ago. Very long time ago.
I think King George was just on the throne.
You know Henry VIII, and he had 8 wives.
Yeah, it was him.
But okay, so what is it then? What happened last year?
Last year, terrible time with someone, but I managed to leave. I had no boundaries, basically, is what I've discovered. I'm 42 and I've just realised what actual heavy implementation of boundaries is. And not in a lockdown way, just in a kind of like protecting.
Gotta have some boundaries.
I've learned some stuff. Learned some really life-changing things. That's why when Lewis actually reached out to me about the pod, it came just as that moment where I was just kind of releasing all of that. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm able to have a voice again, because I felt like for a little while I had no voice because of this position, that I was in. And things that I was doing, obviously, to enable that. But I didn't realise that was what that was at the time.
Okay, so then you closed the door and then something new came in.
Yes.
But yeah, it's all, you see, that's another reason with the psychic protection, because you don't have boundaries. Because it goes hand in hand with being psychic and having visions. It comes to people who are open and without boundary. Because that's the nature of the beast. Do you know what I mean? That's the nature.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If you are open and receptive, you are open and receptive to things.
I know.
But that's why psychics always will have learnt the hard way how to have boundaries, how to say no.
I learnt the hard way big time.
Yeah. So that's cool. Now you're
I'm
ready.
glad about it. I'm so glad. I'm actually grateful it took place because, new version. Wow, that's insane.
Go on then, Lewis. So we got you here, AM.
I'm nervous. I've got sweaty palms.
Oh, you have?
I'm nervous.
It's gone all clammy.
You are at your Jupiter return, so you've had a nice year this year. So every 11.8 years, we have our Jupiter return. You have Jupiter in Taurus, and Jupiter is currently in Taurus. So that is good for you. You are an Aries with the moon in Leo and rising Sagittarius. So you're a firecracker, which means, born, if this ascendant is correct, which it probably is. Are you tall, Lewis?
No, I'm 5'8". Although I like to say I'm like...
You sat on 3 yellow pages here.
in your mind, imagine Ronnie Corbett. I think on my spotlight it says 5'10", and if I wear a wedge, I can pull it off.
Rising Sagittarius is like big.
Well, people always think one of the things, like, say if we get into a party and we all take our shoes off, people go, "Where the fuck did he go?"
Get the yellow pages
what
out.
are you doing down there? A lot of people always think, because I've got quite a big personality, I was assigned that too.
Yeah.
So, right, Aries, lowering the tone. And Moon in Leo, so you want to be in the stage, you want to be in the spotlight. This is Moon in the 9th house. So there's a teacher in you too.
Oh, don't even start.
You won't believe what happened last night.
Oh, don't even
You won't
start.
believe. My roommate does numerology, and so really quickly she just worked it out really like basic level, and she went, "Oh, you're in 1111, like a double 11. Apparently that's the teacher of spirituality and spreading like information to the masses." And you've just said I can't deal with this. This is getting ridiculous.
To use my powers for good or evil, I've yet to decide.
Good. We've got enough evil in this world, Lewis.
All right.
1111. Is it 29th?
She can't do maths.
How did she get that? 29 plus 3 plus 9 on a knee. 22. You're 22. That's bigger vibes.
Don't tell him it's even bigger and better. Don't give
Okay, I
him
won't.
that.
We won't talk about that. You're a 9, I think. Are you?
I'm a 9. I am a 9.
Yeah, I did it a minute ago in my head.
Wow, you're good.
But I didn't say it. But when you were, what were you talking about? And I wanted to, because you're born on 21st, so that's a 3. 3s are communicators. It's like 9. Okay, she's a healer.
Yeah. No, I am a healer. I do say so myself.
I am all those amazing things, yes.
Well, she is.
She is. There you are.
And you're here to build stuff, Lewis.
He does.
Wow, that's
do.
interesting.
With a rising Sag at 0 degrees, having anything at 0 29 is pretty potent, and 0 degrees Sagittarius is, Sagittarius is the teacher, wants to share, wants to put things out, wants to broadcast, wants to travel, big ideas, new ideas, selling concepts. Surprised he didn't do well in that call centre, to be honest.
No, he gave it a good go.
Gifted the gab, you got it.
He's got it, yeah.
When I wanted to.
Yeah.
Half the time I was just listening to like dun, 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 dun.
That's probably why we all got fired.
Yeah.
Mars in Capricorn, hard worker.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
I think when you were saying earlier as well, like the last year actually, I'm coming into quite a lot of work now, but the last year I haven't worked a lot. And as actors especially, you can assign a lot of your happiness and self-worth to working, to being booked. And when I think about it, this last year, yes, there's been financial stresses and that sort of stuff, but my children are very young. One's just about to turn 4 and the other one's 17 months. And if I really think about it, the last year actually has been amazing. And this last year, like I had a lot of health stuff. I've overcome that. I've got myself physically and mentally well. I had a thing called, you laugh every time. It's a thing called foot drop. I had an impingement in my spine and I lost all of the sensation and movement in my left foot. So I found it very hard to walk and I had to rehab for about a month. And I just wasn't looking after myself. So I got physically fit again, started doing yoga, started to implement meditation. And then I had a really big breakthrough in meditation maybe a couple of weeks ago. And it's not a thing that I've been expecting. I just had I suppose like a vision or something like of that ilk. Bear in mind, me a year and a half ago, I'd been down the pub and saying this is a load of bollocks.
I think he's having a spiritual awakening.
So I've had actually this last year, when I really think about it, I've had all these amazing things happen. Actually, I've changed a lot, I think.
You've also got a Neptune transit going on at the moment at the root of your chart, really. So that could manifest in lots of ways, but I guess one of them is everything that you've just said, so I won't repeat it. But there's you are being drawn into. We all are, because Neptune and Saturn are in Pisces right now. They have been since March, and because the planets out there are in those positions right now, that is what all of us, the collective, are going through. It's what we're all experiencing, and we are all being called into like perception beyond the 3D, perception what we think is normal. And I think we're maybe, I don't know how it's going to pan out, like how many people are going to get on board with it and understand that psychic phenomena is normal and that meditations can be, and we all take an interest in our dreams, but you could have both of you with your Neptune transits could have some really interesting dreams at the minute. And with these Jupiter transits should be very good, Lewis, really.
I feel that way.
And it's curious what you're going to do financially. 2020 also, wasn't great for actors, I imagine.
No, not great. It didn't start that way, obviously, and then actually I managed to do. I was very fortunate in the sense of I did manage to get booked once we found out how we could operate, if that makes sense.
Okay, and was that good?
I mean, I had I May Destroy You come out in 2020, which was a really big gig for me, but I didn't film it that year, if you know what I mean.
Okay, but still it came out.
But yeah, it still came out. Yeah, I mean, that was a really big show that a lot of people know me from or still talk about anyway. And
anything else that year? Or did you have, you had a little one?
Yeah, I didn't have Willow till 2021. And then there's quite a lot. Oh yeah, I suppose I started doing there was quite a few big jobs there. And I went to Guadeloupe and Germany.
Guadeloupe? I've never even heard of that place.
Yeah, it's where they filmed Death in Paradise. That's great.
What it's called?
Yeah. Oh, we moved as well.
You had Pluto on your Mars. So that is about really pushing yourself to the edge, really working, going into overdrive. Oh
my God. I directed a film and then I started a documentary, which I'm finishing up on now.
Right.
That was the start. That was the start of that. That was a really big opportunity. It's like a football documentary that Louis Tomlinson's exec producing. And that was I've never directed a documentary in my life. So to be doing that, and then I did a film as well where it had animation and there was loads of brand new things that I felt like I'd blagged.
Okay, you see, this is it. This is the big ambition. And I do think that next April, May, it's like, you've got a lot going on already and you've been pushed. That Pluto transit, because you've got a lot of things in earth signs. So do you know what the earth signs are?
Well, like water, fire.
No.
Well, that's the elements, yeah.
That's the elements, yeah. The answer is no, we don't have a fucking clue.
We'll give it a go, though.
Yeah.
So Aries is fire. What's Taurus?
Oh, that'll be...
Nature.
Yeah.
Animals.
Go back to nature.
Earth.
Earth.
Yeah. Nature. You got it. And then what's Gemini?
Wind.
Sunshine. Wind.
Pretty much wind.
Yeah, wind. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. Why did you say wind?
Because I'm full of hot air, he was probably going to say.
Yeah. I don't know.
Good. Well, you nailed it anyway. Cancer is what?
You said water.
No, very good. Water.
Yes.
You're turning psychic.
And then we go to Leo. What's Leo?
Lion.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, he's
No.
really
Well,
good
Leo
at...
is the lion, but think about it. Carry on. What element is it?
Oh, what we not saying?
Strength. That's not an element.
No,
not
we
an
can go
element.
back now. We've done them all. There's only 4 elements, so we're just repeating.
Oh, fire.
Fire.
Very good. And then Virgo is what?
We're not learning anything. Water.
Air.
Earth.
Earth, service, isn't it? So then you go to Libra is air and Scorpio is water, like the iceberg, blah, blah, carry on. And you've got a lot of earth, Lewis. You've got Mars is in Capricorn, which is earth. Mm-hmm. Venus is in Taurus, which is earth. And your MC, which is like basically the very top of your chart, which is like your career line, is in Virgo. So you've got what's called as a grand trine in earth, like a nice triangle in your chart connecting these 3 things. And so whenever one of the transiting planets sits in one of these points or passes over it, it goes whoosh. It like really turbos your chart and makes you much more... You start earning cash, basically, because it's in the areas of your chart to do with work and money and finances. And because what's happening next year is Jupiter, the planet of expansion and growth, and actually the planet that rules your chart. So an important planet for you is going to sit on Venus, which is the cash monies.
That'd be nice.
It looks like that could be a time for really ramping.
That is just so exciting, and I feel oddly...
Comforted.
I'm not oddly comforted. I do feel comforted. And it's not. There's nothing about it.
I'm clinging on to all this.
I get it. I see the appeal.
Well, you feel the thing is you probably already know it, but it's also going to be important to look after your health, to keep doing all these things that you've learned, to keep doing the meditation, and to not go full pelt workaholic.
Wow, that really is funny. Last week, I literally I think my nervous system was really low. So I just got really, really sick, and because I'm taking too many projects on, and I had to realign myself. And my wife, bless her, was saying subtly, but sometimes it takes with me, I'm a bit of a workaholic. I will literally run myself into the ground, and then I'll go, oh, I'm probably overdoing this. And then my wife goes,
It's a lot of
yes, but you still have to get up and change the kids' asses. Do you know what I mean? You know? So that is very funny. That is something that I have to keep my eye on. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like Mars in Capricorn will just go and 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 go. Capricorn will do that. And you've got 4 planets in Capricorn. So yeah, you're a bit of a machine. But then there's the other, you're still a human. So you've got to stop.
Okay. Wow.
And you're a 22. The 22 does that anyway. It's in the numerology. So it's really important that I read one book that said a 22 needs at least 11 days of absolute off every year.
11. Is that number again?
Okay.
So if you can, and because otherwise you're just grabbing rest wherever you're snatching a day here and there. If a week or 11 days of off is required.
We're literally, this is so weird, man. We're literally planning, I'm about to go off and do another job, which is I'm going to be doing a play until the 2nd of December.
Oh, wow.
Touring around, but it means I won't be on the family holiday with all our friends. So we're currently now trying to squeeze some time out just so we can have that off. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it'd be really interesting, and I was a bit nervous coming into it. But Francesca, you've been amazing.
You've blown my mind. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Amazing.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so, so much. And let's do this again sometime.
Yes, we should absolutely do this again. We'd love to have you on again.
All right, Francesca. Well, thank you so much. It's
Yeah.
been a privilege.
You've been amazing.
Thanks, guys.
That was unbelievable.
That was incredible. What great acting there as well, Joe. So we've just done a take before this and it wasn't quite as good, so we're doing a retake and Joe's acting skills really took me back there.
Unbelievable.
But that interview was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I can't get over it. It's so accurate.
I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect it to be that accurate and grounded. And it, for someone like me who I don't know anything about it, I feel like I've come away with like a much more stronger. Not even. I don't want to use the word belief because she wouldn't use that absolute. When she said absolutes, I thought that was really cool. She doesn't believe in beliefs. It's absolutes. I feel a lot more secure in it, and I could totally see why people can
find guidance and security and all the things.
All the things from it.
All the things.
Francesca, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Let's get her on again.
Yes.
It'd be good to do every now and again she pops in, she does a bit of a reading for us, or one of our guests. So go to francescaoddie.com if you want to learn more, or you want to get a one-to-one with her. You can also get her at the Astrology Oddcast, which is a great title.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
And it's thoroughly enjoyable. She's a one-woman power horse. Check her work out. She's great.
Well, you're going to say powerhouse. But I like horse because they're powerful as well.
Yeah, that's totally what I mean.
She's
a power horse.
One-woman power horse.
We've done 2 shows today. I'm quite tired. Right. Anyway, we've got some serious business now because we've missed a couple of episodes of the quiz, and next week is going to be our final episode.
Yeah.
And whoever does not get the highest score, God, I'm saying this like an idiot. Whoever does not get the highest score will be doing like a forfeit.
So that'll be you, like, innit?
Yeah.
It's gonna be you.
Oh, I forgot my library card. So whoever loses is doing a forfeit. Please send in what you think the forfeit should be.
Mug him right off.
Hey, there's still another go yet. Let's find out how we're getting on.
Good morning. We called it, people. How is it going? Hope the record's going well. I have some results. Last time we spoke, I asked you some questions about my holiday. I think you misheard, because I said, where in Italy am I going? Closest city wins. And Jo actually said, even though she thought it was just any city, she said Rome. And Lewis said Sevilla. And the correct answer is Naples. But that is only about an hour on the train from Rome, which I thought was extraordinary that Joe's clearly having these visions.
Oh, fuck
And I
off.
said Rome first. I'm
Oh
psychic.
my God.
You're in a losing battle because I'm a psychic.
The second question was, what herbs do I have growing in the garden? Point per correct answer. Joe said, basil, parsley, thyme. Do have basil. I don't have parsley. I don't have thyme. Lewis said, mint and oregano, which I have both.
Bosh! Come on! Not so psychic then, mate.
Lucky.
The last question I asked was, how much money will the new Indiana Jones film, Dial of Destiny, make at the box office in its first weekend? Joe said 86 million. Lewis said 43 million. The correct answer in the US was 60 million, and Lewis won that question. 6-5.
Bosh!
Into this final round of questions.
Bosh!
So we're doing this on a Tuesday, and the final recording is at the weekend, just to give the viewers at home an idea of what's going on. My first question is, how many total views on YouTube will We Called It have before the last recording day? So we're currently on 9.5 thousand views, and I want to know how many will it be on in 4 days.
So 9.5 thousand. 4 days from the point that he was talking about.
I'm going to go 13,000.
Yeah, I was going to say that. 12,500. Oh my God, so then whoever gets these right, that is... Oh, this is tense now.
Everybody's talking about Barbie and Oppenheimer because they're coming out on the same day. But what I want to know is, how much money will it make combined? And for a bonus point, me and Gemma, my wife, are going to see both films. One on the Friday, one on the Saturday. Which one are we seeing on Friday? Which one are we seeing on Saturday?
Barbie Friday, Oppenheimer Saturday.
And then
Okay, but you need to. How much is going to be the combined box office?
150 million. No, 180 million.
I'm going to say 230
I was going to
million.
say, yeah.
230 million, and you're going to see Oppenheimer first, Barbie second. Come on, get in there.
I've been trying to be on a bit of a health kick recently and get fit for my new football team. And I'm wondering, between now and Sunday, so it's Tuesday today, Sunday's the last recording, how many steps will I do? And I will properly keep count and tally it all up.
Go on then, how many steps in those 4 days?
I'm going to say 60,000.
Yeah, 45,000.
I do 20,000 a day.
He's a remote worker producing. You're walking places.
It's
He'll
true.
do a lot of his stuff.
Can I change it?
No, you can't.
You're so mean.
Look how much I care.
All his fucks disappeared. Where's Lewis's fuck? Lewis, where did your fucks go?
Down there.
They've all gone.
Don't give a fuck. Listen, you lot, you've been amazing. Subscribe. If you can, go into Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Give us a rating. Click 5 stars, even if you think it's shit. You're probably watching it because you're a mate of a mate, and it really helps us grow the podcast. If you could subscribe on YouTube, share us about, just leave us on in the background.
Spread us everywhere.
That sounds filthy. Because we love doing it. We love doing it. This is the penultimate episode. We've got one more episode left this season, and then we're going to have a little break. But what's going to help us come back is knowing that we've got a fan base and people that have loved and supported the show. So, I hate it. I hate when footballers do that. I'm going to go, you grown man, stop doing bloody love arts. Just go,
No,
yes.
expressing love. We've got enough hate. I've said that to you twice today.
Where is the love? Right, love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.